Hey guys, Joe here. Let me try to get in front of the lake. With H&J Fence Supply, we're a local pro helper, depending on where I post this video. Doing this in our more or less makeshift office that I basically use whenever I have to get away from a lot of talking stuff like that. Just want to go over real quick how the week went. I posted a video from the update from 418. But today's Friday. I really need to get a habit of posting this on a weekly basis to kind of let everyone know how everything's going and things of that nature. From a business standpoint, I'm excited because it did start picking up quite a bit. I'm actually happier for our contractors that are ordering from us. The reason for that is we've heard quite a bit. I was looking at the wrong side. Sorry, I looked at there. So is I heard quite a bit for several months now that everyone's really slow. They're getting worried, things of that nature. And then, really, even up until about 2 weeks ago, they were, the smaller guys that really don't advertise online, things like that, were worried about SEO, Google My Business, or Google Business Profile, whatever you want to call it. They were really worried, right? And so it seems like right after today is 421, that for the last week and a half, people are really starting to pick up. I hear about the quote volume picking up and everything else. So obviously, I'm great. I'm happy and grateful that we're picking up. But like I said, I'm more happy that our customers are, because I've been in that situation. Again, I used to own a fence company that's almost sold at this point. But I know what it's like for the first few years where it's really tough. You don't know what's going to happen, things like that. So that's where I'm kind of excited. So, numbers wise, we pumped out 499 solid weight vinyl panels, the 6 foot solid. And then the other ones, real quick, I forget the exact numbers, but I think it was like another 150-ish, somewhere around there. So we pumped out about 650 vinyl panels this week. For aluminum, it was about 120, 150, something like that. And so all said and done, my brain's about mush at this point. 650, so I don't know, close to 800 panels. So it's a pretty big uptick compared to the week before. We were probably around 600, somewhere around there. So nice little bump there, probably like 20, 25%, somewhere in there. And we went from basically 25 orders to maybe I think like 40, something like that. So same thing, the volume jumped up quite a bit. Now the orders were a little bit on the smaller side, so there was less pouch to do things like that. But um, what's more important is that we went from 4 maybe 5 orders a day to last week and the weeks before that to like 8 to 12 orders a day. So it's been a really really big jump. Of course I'm helping out here and there, but for the most part my team is handling it on our own. Sometimes I'm in there giving direction and changing things. We're not changing things, just giving direction and tweaking what we're doing. We also had three truckloads coming this week. So there was like one on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we just received two today. So like we're fully stocked. Like it's pretty. I think today alone we brought in about 800 more sections, and then probably the other one. So about 1,300 sections were brought in. So there's quite a bit of stock at this point. So we're not worried about running out of that main items, but like then there's other stuff that we're going through way faster than we're used to. So we're dealing with that. So, but I don't want to say, oh, we're perfect and nothing happens, that kind of thing. Total wise, there was two orders that got messed up. Actually, two orders got messed up, and probably about a 95%, 92% accuracy rate. We know why it happened. So basically, because we have multiple people, normally have one person, James, which he is like he's awesome. Like my whole team's awesome. Like I gotta be honest with you. We had a little meeting today after we bought food and stuff like that. But I told him how proud I am of them. We shouted out each individual person because everyone brings their own unique contributions to the company. And everyone, like, there's no small parts within the company. Everything, we're all relying on each other. And I told him, like, I used to work for McDonald's, right? and I was a general manager, and I was doing that for 10 or 12 years or something like that. And between my other jobs and everything else, because I am 40 now, so at this point, I've been working for 25 years, and so I've worked with, especially because McDonald's, but I've worked with hundreds of people, hundreds, in direct relation. And I don't care, like, I told them, it's like, look, even working with hundreds of people, I would put them up against anyone else that I've ever worked with. The fact that everyone is all gung ho, the fact that they're all willing to help each other, the fact that whenever someone needs help and I'm like, hey, can you do this? Or Maria, my wife, or someone else is like, hey, can you help me? Or can you do this? Or can you do that? There is not a single eye roll ever. They're like, yep, I got it. And we all just jump in and get the thing done. The crazier thing above that is like 60% or 70%, probably 70%, 80% of my team has been here less than 3 months. It's been about 2 months actually, for everyone. Like that's crazy when you think about it, right? And I'm looking in the wrong direction again. Sorry, I should really like center this on the screen so I'm looking in the right direction. Of course, it won't let me. Upload that. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. So that's pretty crazy, right? And I have to keep on thinking about that because things happen here and there, and sometimes I get frustrated. But then I'm like, it, like like it's pretty crazy. Like I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future. Um, I can, I am confident in saying this already. I don't think, or actually, I should say, there is not in my mind, and I have no doubt about this. There's not a better team than us. And it's not me coming from a place of saying that so that way we can bring in more business and stuff like that, because we're doing that on a consistent basis at this point. And I do think it's because of our customer service. It's our commitment to our customers. It's the thinking about them before anything else. It's the ordering your material and us being honest with when it's going to be available. It's us, when you order your materials, we still can turn around in 1 and 2 days, even though every week it's like we're stretching ourselves a little bit more and more and more, and not stretching it's not spreading ourselves thin. I don't want to say it like that, where that's like, oh, we can't handle it. No, that's not true. It's the fact that we keep on pushing ourselves. It's kind of like if you're preparing for you just started running. For the first few weeks, like we were only running half a mile a day, and then we are getting to 1 and 2 and 3, and this week we probably hit 4 or 5 miles. And then the pace on top of it, maybe before we were at a 15-minute mile, now we're at like a 12 or a 10-minute mile, right? And it just keeps on improving, over. And I think it's because we have a commitment to having the weekly meetings. We have a commitment to, like, because we're a team and we're working together, there's not like, oh, like, don't say this because it's going to upset this person, or don't do this. Like, we're genuinely trying to help each other out. And it's been pretty amazing. We hear it constantly, that no one has the customer service that we do. We hear it constantly that there is such a, they can see the difference between us and every other person out, every other company out there. That it's so apparent. And I absolutely love what we're doing. I love the people we're working with. I love coming in every day. Now, obviously, it's my business, but there's, you can't really say that too many times. Like the culture that we're building here is like, it's crazy. I wish I would have done this with the installation side, but even with that being said, because again, like we're selling that and it's almost done, I wouldn't be as happy with that as I am with this. And I think it's because I'm able to help out contractors. I was trying to do that with this whole local pro helper YouTube channel, and I was posting videos, and the goal originally was to like, make money from it. It was like to build the channel so that we can sell services and stuff like that. And now it's like I kind of just stopped doing that. I'm worrying about the income, and I'm just worrying about helping people, and it shows. The fact that like you could experience yourself or talk to people that order from us, but they like we people will come in and like we had Alex today and some other people today, but they'll call like they will come and because they ordered their job yesterday or the day before or sometimes even the day of, and they come in, by the time they leave, I mean by the time they like get out of the office for paying, and not that they're there for a while, like a lot of times they're just sitting there talking to the team up front because they like actually like interacting with us because we actually like interacting with you guys, and you can just tell like everyone loves what they do. And a lot, like 9 times out of 10, like we're waiting, like the people on the forklifts with your material are waiting for you to come out. I cannot stand or couldn't stand when I would go to the other suppliers. And I'm not calling anyone out, but as a suppliers in general, and it's probably not just this area, but I'm sure it's most other areas too. But when you've been in business for a number of years and you like or maybe not even for a number of years, but like they're taking, and this is a lot of businesses in general, it doesn't just pertain to suppliers, but they take their customers for granted. And because of that, and it's not even for granted, but it's taking them for granted, but it's also um, thinking about the company first. And you can't do that. Well, you can, but it doesn't get you too far, right? And I think that's where we've been able to grow. And I think it's where, with the installation company, we did what we did because it was best for us. And it showed. Our closing rate was super low. Yes, we did, a few $1 million a year of revenue, but that was because of what I can do with online advertising and SEO and Google My Business and all that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, I did start a fence company. I did, all the installations and stuff in the beginning, stuff like that. But I'm not like a natural fence person. Like my body's always torn up. Like I'm in a wrist brace now, and we thought of, but at the end of the day, like, I wasn't really a fence guy. I was more of like an online marketer that happened to sell fences. And that allows me to help the contractors we work with. It allows me to, you know, advertise on our own for the supply side and then in turn send these leads out to other people. There's companies, one in particular, that is completely blowing up because how we have helped them. And it's not to pat me on the back, but it's because it's our dedication to our customers. Because at the end of the day, it's every when it can't be the company that's winning, because it doesn't work. It has to. Everyone has to win. It does no good if like the customer and the company's doing really well, but then the employees aren't looked at. And like I don't like the word employee anymore. I really look at teammates, right? And so if I'm not taking care of my team, are they going to do the best that they can? No, right? So we try to take care of them. We try to have a fun environment, and like you'll see the difference when you walk in our doors compared to anyone else. Um, so, trying to think what else. So that's been about it so far. As far as the business for the week, as far as what we've done. But because of the increase in business, and because it's like from last week to this week, we probably added 25% revenue, and it's been 20, 25%, something like that. And which doesn't sound like much, but like when you have a new team, when you have there's different milestones, and I'm thinking, we're hitting these milestones, and kind of like what worked really well before is kind of like slowing us down a little bit now, right? As the volume picks up. So this is where we start looking at. We tweak some of the posts that we're moving around and where they're placed, and some of the other things. And I'm like, this worked before, but it's not really working that great now, right? So that's where we're constantly making the tweaks, but it's also where we're willing to make the tweaks. We're not set in our ways. We know that we're constantly learning and growing. We know that we're constantly looking for feedback from our customers to see how we can improve. We constantly are getting feedback from the drivers, from everyone, teammates and everything else. and we make tweaks because of that, right? And we, whenever there's a mistake, we learn from that. It's not like, oh, just deal with it. We make those tweaks. And then same thing when we make a mistake, like we don't say, hey, come and get it. Like we run out and do it. Like, we had to do that twice this week. So, um, trying to think what else. I think that's really about it. Again, I'm really proud of what we're accomplishing here. Um, I'm really excited to see what the future brings, just because of what we've experienced. We haven't even hit a year yet at this point, and I think a few people, probably a lot of people, thought it was crazy, because there are a lot of suppliers in this area, and with the price points and everything else. Because honestly, at this point, with their buying power compared to ours, like we make next to nothing on the panels and posts, like next to nothing. Um, and it's where we have to make up with sheer volume. But I'm okay with that. I could try raising my pricing, but again, we have to, obviously, if we raise our pricing, we're not going to get as many new customers in the door. But it's also, I know that, our main concern is the contractor. So, by raising the panels, just say even 500, $5, that's going to be an extra $100 or $125 on an average job. And if they're doing 3 jobs a week, that's close to $400, which is $20,000. Like that's a lot of money for these contractors, especially the smaller guys. 20 grand is like a make or break kind of thing, right? So that's why we don't do it. I'd rather forfeit the profit now in the hopes and the realization that we're going to make that up in the end. So that's where we're kind of at this point. So pretty tired at this point. We had to deal with some lawyer stuff, and so I went home, but then realized that the changes didn't save on this Google Doc. I thought it would have saved and went home with it, but it of course didn't. So I had to come back, but it's all good. So anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome night. I just wanted to kind of give you an update of what's going on, and excited to see in the future. If you haven't tried us yet, chances are you're not even watching this video still at this point, but that's okay. If you haven't, and I also do this to document just to see where we were and what happened and all that kind of stuff. But if you haven't tried us yet, we do still offer the 54-inch black aluminum, the 3-rail. It's only $59. The quality is going to be better than Alumiguard and then like Jareth Liberty line and stuff like that. It does have screw system, but we've been doing it for several years. Our customers from the installation days love the material, and we do carry it in extra picket as well. So that's $99. At this point, we are trying to keep it going. Again, like the margins are much lower because obviously these other guys are selling it for like $69, $75, and their buying power is a hell of a lot higher, but we're doing what we can. So anyway, hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Talk to you soon.